And welcome to one of the toughest tracks in America, the Rock at Rockingham, North Carolina. It's the 200 here for NASCAR Grand National Cars. Hello, I'm Ken Squire. Down below me, 37 tough NASCAR bruisers and one valiant lady getting ready to do battle here today. Working along with us, Benny Parsons, a guy who was crowned national champion in this track a few years back. What are we looking for in this battle?
Well, I think that the question I have is, can the newcomers beat the old guys? We have two great competitors down there in Bobby Allison and Morgan Shepherd, Ken. There's 8 cars that's out-qualified them. Newcomers out-qualified them. Can they beat them for 200 miles? I doubt it very much.
The names in the front row may be somewhat new, but they're also somewhat old. Here's the story on that first from the pole sitter, and standing with him is Chris Economaki.
I'm with the pole sitter, Davey Allison, a famous racing name, and a man who's strapping himself into his car for what may be a very sentimental drive. Davey, you leave this series for the big time after this race. So what does this mean about how you'll drive the car today?
Well, Chris, I'd like to win this race. I've been running this series for a few years now, and I've been close a few times, and we've been close to sitting on the pole a few times, and we finally got one, and I'd like to go ahead and win one, too.
Davey, there's been a lot of rough stuff in this series lately in this season, crashing and banging. Will we see any of that today?
I don't think you'll see any crashing and banging going on today, any deliberate crashing and banging. I think you may see a little bit of action, but most of these guys have pretty cool heads, and I think you'll see a good race.
Well, you have a good drive. And now down pit road to my colleague Jerry Garrett.
Well, on the outside of the front row is the driver who had this race pretty much in the bag last year, Larry Pearson. And do you feel like this track owes you one, Larry?
Well, I really do, Jerry. Like you said, we were running first and 14 laps to go here last year, and we blew a motor, so it does owe me one. We usually run pretty good here at Rockingham and qualify pretty well, but the last couple of races we just haven't come up with a good finish, so, I'm looking for one today.
You got a tough competitor beside you in Davey Allison, but you also got a rocket back there in the back of the pack in Morgan Shepherd. Are you worried about him?
Oh, yeah, I'm worried about those two plus about 10 more. Everybody's running real good this morning, and, it's going to be a good race. The main thing is just stay out of trouble.
38 cars ready to roll out here, and one that everybody will be watching is the International Motorsports Association champion, Patty Moise, the lone lady driver here. There it is, car number 38. Let's join Bob Barsha right now at the Motorcraft Quality Parts Pit Center.
Thank you, Ken. Here in our pit center throughout the day, we'll be following the stories behind the race. And there's a bunch of them. Human stories, such as the newest representatives of a couple of great old racing names, Allison and Pearson. Patty Moise is another. But there'll also be mechanical stories today, because this race is the ultimate confrontation between engine types in NASCAR competition. With me to discuss that, as he will be throughout the day, we're happy to invite the other half of the Racing Parsons brothers, Phil Parsons. Now, Phil, the battle today is going to be V6 versus V8.
Well, it certainly is, Bob. And you have a perfect example in the front row. You have a V6 on the pole with Davey Allison, a V8 on the outside with Larry Pearson. A number of competitors have gone each way. It'll be a very interesting show. It'll be V6 quickness versus V8 power, and we'll be back to bring you the start of the Rockingham 200 right after these messages.
Lineup for the Rockingham 200. In row number 1, it's Davey Allison on the pole and Larry Pearson. In row 2 today, L.D. Ottinger, the former national champion, and also the Ironman Jack Ingram. For row 3, Dale Jarrett, who won a race in the Grand National Series this year, and the veteran Tommy Houston. In row 4, Brett Bodine and Brett Hearn are there. Row 5, that's Bobby Allison and Morgan Shepherd, 2 of the Giants. Row 6 is Rick Mast from Virginia and Dave Maida III. Going to row 7, it's Kenny Burks and Charlie Luck. In row 8, Robbie Moroso and Jimmy Hensley. Row 9, Donnie Allison and Ernie Irvan. For row 10, Robert Ingram Jr. and Bosco Lowe. In row 11, it's Patty Moise of Jacksonville, Florida, and Colorado's Mike Bonicelli. Row 12 is Ed Barrier and Larry Pollard. Row 13, John Linville and Tommy Sigmund. Row 14, Rodney Boucher, Wally Lambert. Row 15, Gene Coyle and Joe Harrison. Row 16, Joe Henry and Larry Balsma. Row 17, Elton Sawyer, Mike Porter. Row 18, Scott Fisher and Kirk Bryant. And in the rear, Ronnie Silver and Darrell Axe as they take the green and charge into turn 1.
Tremendous start for both the front row. They're still side by side as they go through turns 1 and 2. Davey Allison now got just a little bit of jump on Pearson and takes the lead down the back straightaway.
L.D. Ottinger on the inside, the yellow and black car pulling up for second place. Ottinger on his way.
Pearson caught on the outside. Can't get back to the inside. Dale Jarrett takes a look on the inside.
Out of turn number 4, the green car dropping down to the bottom, going into the first turn and making a run for second place. Making the move is the Iron Man, Jack Ingram.
Some contact coming off the corner and cars are sideways. Brett Bodine alongside the Dale Jarrett car.
3-4 wide there for just a moment as they got in just a bit of a snarl in turn number 2. Back out of turn number 4 as they shake loose. Davey Allison goes in first. Ingram is in second. Ottinger is in third. Pearson fourth. And then Tommy Houston moves into 5th. Brett Bodine back to 6th spot. Moving up into 7th comes Morgan Shepherd.
Morgan Shepherd has gotten a good start, Ken Squire. Looks like he is going to the front.
That's that new V6 that he had out of California, the same engine maker that developed the engine for Dale Earnhardt, who won one of these Grand National races at Charlotte, North Carolina earlier this year. Here they are, thundering down into the main straightaway at the Rock, and leading, it's Davey Allison. 3 Allisons in the race, closing on Davey. Jack Ingram moving up. Must-win situation for Ingram. Ottinger pinned. He's falling back, as you see here. That's Pearson driving to 3rd. Tommy Houston to 4th. Brett Bodine trying to move under Ottinger. Up in front, a tremendous battle developing. On to the inside, Jack Ingram takes a look in the Bandit. Davey Allison fends him off. Down they go into turn number 1. Last lap at 136 plus miles per hour on this mile-plus track. 197 lap. Oh! Pulling up. That's the Iron Man. Ingram just creasing the rear bumper on Davey Allison's car.
I have never seen Jack Ingram so aggressive, Ken Squire. He must want this race badly.
Meanwhile, good battle of Ellis back in the 3rd position. Larry Pearson's trying to hold off Tommy Houston, who's all cranked up today. And moving to the 5th comes Morgan Shepherd. In 6th is Bodine. Out of turn number 2, look at Davey Allison show his colors. And here's Ingram, the old veteran, 5-time National Sportsman champion in NASCAR. Closes on Allison at turn 3.
Jack Ingram let the car get almost too close to the wall coming off turn 2 that time, but he was able to keep it away from the wall. Now he's going to try, looks like on the outside, no. Falls behind Davey Allison down the front straightaway.
Larry Pearson, son of the great David Pearson, maintaining 3rd position. Number 1 in Grand National points, 1986 in NASCAR. Tommy Houston coming after him, and also Morgan Shepherd's on the move. Out of turn number 2. Still, Davey Allison maintaining the position. There's that battle for 3rd, and the black car back in 5th. Morgan Shepherd taking the high side. Shepherd trying to move it up and around. Meanwhile, back in front, still challenging Ingram, working on Davey Allison.
There we saw the white car on the inside on the apron. That's Kirk Bryant. Looks like he has an engine problem, and it looked like he was terminal. Looks like he's trying to get to the garage area on the back. Meanwhile, there's Davey Allison, Jack Ingram. The race still continues for the lead.
Over a quarter of a century difference between these 2 drivers. Here's Ingram pounding down to the inside. Meanwhile, as they come down to the line, into that 3rd spot, Pearson trying to hold a man off. Got one car trouble, Patty Moise.
Has spun in turn between 3 and 4. And there we see a car coming down the back straightaway.
That's Darrell Lack's car. He tagged the wall up in 2, and he may have laid some oil down that Patty Moise got into. The 05 drops onto the bottom. First caution of the day for Lax, who started in the very last row, back in row 19. And there's Patty Moise's car coming in. So we're under caution. Let's take a look at the standings here. Davey Allison 1st, Jack Ingram 2nd, Larry Pearson 3rd, Tommy Houston 4th, and Morgan Shepherd is 5th. We'll be back with more in a moment. Field comes down, taking green, and we're back underway here at Rockingham, North Carolina. Into the lead, Davey Allison is in 5th, with Jack Ingram in 2nd. The man in the charge is Morgan Shepherd, who has moved up from the 5th row into the 5th position now and is ready to challenge. Also coming along is Davey Allison. There you see him tucking in 6th position now in his charge. That's Bobby Allison on the move. Davey Allison, the son, is right here in front of Jack Ingram as they come down into turn 3 and 4. Let's go to Bob Barker.
Gentlemen, as we watch this race, we said this was going to be a battle between V6 and V8. We've also got a battle between V6s. Up front, you're looking at a Chevy V8 and V6, that is, in Jack Ingram's car, and a Buick V6 in Davey Allison's car. So it's maker against maker in the V6 class right now.
There's another challenge for the lead. Bottom side of the racetrack, Jack Ingram is there. Ingram riding Allison high. Allison does not give any ground, stays right with him. They come out of 4, down the main straightaway. Ingram into the lead. Meanwhile, back behind them, the black car trying for 4th position. That's Morgan Shepherd sweeping along at the bottom of the track.
And Morgan is Bobby Allison trying to follow Morgan Shepherd's lead and go to the inside. Tommy Houston was having none of it. Bobby has to fall back to 6th spot.
New leader. Car number 11, Jack Ingram, in that familiar green and white livery, stays out in front. Allison in 2nd, Larry Pearson in 3rd. And now Pearson has a challenger at turn 1. There are the 2 leaders closing up against Allison. There's the battle for 3rd spot. It's Larry Pearson there. Morgan Shepherd is on it. Shepherd comes down to the inside. Shepherd trying to gun him down and gets him in 3.
He gets him. Got inside Larry Pearson. Larry had nothing to do except stay high. Let Morgan Shepherd have the groove, the fastest way around the racetrack.
And you notice that as Larry Pearson stayed high, also on the move was Tommy Houston. That's Houston coming up to challenge for 4th position. Bobby Allison showing a little smoke here in turn number 1 off the tires. Houston picking up a spot, and Allison getting into it.
Allison trying to get by Pearson. Yes, he dives inside Larry Pearson going in the corner, and he has a spot. He's up to 5th spot right now.
L.D. Ottinger is on the charge. He's already picked up 10 automobiles as he comes from the rear of the field, and he's still knocking on the gate. There he is working on Patty Moise on the bottom side of the racetrack. Remember, you saw them making adjustments. L.D. takes another. He could be a factor before it's over. Did not lose a lap. Pitted under caution for 24 seconds and got back into it here.
And has clean racetrack in front of him. There's no slow cars to hold him up for the next 10 or 15 laps.
3 cars battle for the lead. Coming by, Ingram, the old veteran of so many short track wars, challenged by Allison and challenged by that silver and black machine, number 77. Morgan Shepherd is there on the attack, closing up. Shepherd, such a fine performer on any racetrack and any kind of car. This is his own personal car that he's driving in this Grand National race. As we mentioned, a new engine. First time he's tried it. He's on the inside of Allison. Coming down the main straightaway. Ingram first. Allison, Davey Allison in 2nd and maintaining that 3rd spot. Not able to get through was Morgan Shepherd. Again, going a little high in turn number 2 was Allison. Couldn't hold it on the inside, and Shepherd could.
The cars, it looks like when they go high, when they can't keep them on the bottom of the racetrack, they're giving spots away. Jack Ingram having more success keeping his car on the bottom of the racetrack than any other driver out there.
Biggest lead thus far, 15 car lengths, goes to Ingram and into 2nd. Now into the 2nd place goes Morgan Shepherd. And he begins to cut away at that lead that Jack Ingram for a moment was developing. Ingram was able to pull away from Davey Allison, but not the case with Morgan Shepherd. As they approach turn number 3, no question about it, moving up all the time is the silver and black machine that started back in that 5th row. Morgan Shepherd's Buick closing ground on the leader.
As I said at the top of the show, I did not think that these fellows could beat Morgan Shepherd and Bobby Allison.
Moving further back in the field, Bobby Allison 5th, Larry Pearson 6th, Brent Bodine 7th, Dale Jarrett 8th, Rick Masters 9th, and Brett Hearn is in 10th, with Charlie Luck, the Virginia driver, now in 11th.
There we see the 6 car, Tommy Houston. There's some heavy smoke coming out of that automobile when he goes in the turns. I'm not sure if it's tire smoke or engine smoke.
Looked like tire smoke off the right side, just poured off as he went through there.
And that's bad news if it is that. There we see him going in the corner. And again, we watch the smoke coming off the automobile as he goes through the turns.
Battle for the lead, getting tough now. Car number 11 is in front, but 77 is right there. Ingram, the Iron Man. Over a quarter of a century, age experience over Davey Allison, with whom he fought. Now here's a couple of veterans going at it. Morgan Shepherd, who cut his teeth in Grand National racing and late model Sportsman competition. Jack Ingram has always stayed in the short tracks, where he's won somewhere between 300 and 400 races. Now, Shepherd down on the inside, and Morgan's car looks so stout, just handles so well, bottom side. Here comes Allison. Davey Allison back into it, challenging Ingram. He'll take 2nd place, back from Jack Ingram. He brings Tommy Houston with him, and it looks like something's amiss on Ingram's car.
He just got out of the groove, Ken Squire. As I said a moment ago, these cars, when they get off the bottom of the racetrack, they slow down dramatically. That's what happened to Jack Ingram. Morgan Shepherd got inside of him, moved him up on the racetrack, and the other cars right by him.
Remember, they're running about a 136 mile per hour average here. at the Rock on this mile-plus track, just a smidgen over a mile, makes the distance. And it's a tough track, as Benny Parsons can attest.
It is a tough racetrack. Going the corners at about 150, 155 miles per hour and drive the car down it incredibly fast, and it feels like it wants to sling you out the right side of the automobile. There we watch Morgan Shepherd has built about a 15-20 car length advantage right now.
L.D. Ottinger on pit road, car number 2, which was making such a good run, comes back to pit road another time. Something is amiss. This can cost him a lap. Quick change, looks like rubber. Perhaps a tire equalizing here. Ottinger on pit road.
Having trouble with the jack.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
What happened is they rolled a tire off the front. It hit the jack handle and let the car down. They had to jack it back up. And meanwhile, the fellow goes back in the car to make some sort of adjustment in the car.
A lot of making up to do for LD as he tries to get that car rolling and down pit road. Leaders coming around to put him a lap away. Here's the man that everybody's watching, Morgan Shepherd in car number 78. Got the distance on the field right now. Yellow is out. Caution is out, and I believe it's down the back straightaway where we've got another one crinkled. In turn number 2, you can see the car just idling down to the bottom of the racetrack here, tearing up a tire. What was left
Kenny
of it.
Burks. Kenny Burks looks like he spun coming off the second corner and made some contact on the inside retaining wall. He's trying to get the car back to the pit area. There, the right front tire leaves the car completely. Now he's on nothing but the rim.
The Burks hauling Oldsmobile out of Chesapeake, Virginia. On pit road. Real problems for Kenny Burks, car number 02. Let's take a look at the replay of this incident on car number 02. Now, he'd already taken the outside wall. You can see the line of smoke. He came in contact with the inside wall. He comes to rest across lanes 1 and 2 of the back straightaway here at Rockingham. Let's go to Bob Varsha, who is standing by at the pit control center.
Well, Ken, here in the Motorcraft Quality Parts Pit Center, Bill Parsons with me. We've been watching Jack Ingram, who has to be a very happy man right now. He's got problems with that car. With a yellow flag, he's got time to get them fixed. And we'll learn more about those problems when we come back after these messages.
Great crowd here at the North Carolina Motor Speedway with Benny Parsons. I'm Ken Squire, topside to bring you the action from the Rock of the Rockingham 200 here on USA. What a great battle we have. Number 77, Morgan Shepherd, settling down, the leader as we get ready to resume under green. There you see the number 6, Tommy Houston, running in second position. Larry Pearson in third. Bodine is in fourth. That's Brett Bodine. Rick Mast in fifth. Donnie Allison is up to 6. Good run for Donnie. And Dave Mader is in 7th. On the restart as they get set to go, back in the 14th position after a pit stop, Jack Ingram. And after 2 pit stops, way out back is Bobby Allison.
And Bobby Allison lost a lap on that pit stop, so he's got a long ways to go. He has got to make a lap of green flag.
Morgan Shepherd dusts them off going into turn number 1 and sprints out in front of Tommy Houston. Back straightaway, 3, 4, car length advantage, and look at Morgan trying to cut it even tighter. Meanwhile, further back, car number 11. He's trying to unsnarl from some traffic and move up. Desperate situation for Jack Ingram here today. There they are on the restart. Here is Morgan Shepherd up in front. You see Larry Pearson maintaining third. Out in front, Morgan Shepherd, who has mixed memories of the Rock.
Well, the last race I ran here, we ran fourth in the Race Hill Farms Buick. And then I think last year of this race, I was lapping a slow car, and he hit my left front and knocked the air out of the tire and put me in the wall. So there's a little good and there's a little bad.
Morgan Shepherd is having it pretty good right now as he continues to draw away from Houston in the second position. Further back, continuing to nip through traffic in this nip and tuck battle. There is car number 11. That's Jack Ingram in pursuit of victory here. Started in the 14th. He closes up and he's wheeling in on car number 1, Robert Ingram Jr. Blasting by him. Larry Pearson moves around Tommy Houston. Good struggle there. Larry Pearson has it all back in gear. 77. Morgan Shepherd, your leader.
Tommy Houston off the throttle going in turn 1. Tommy Houston has a problem. He's coming in the pits, And I'm surprised with the car smoking like it was a moment ago, he did not pit on the caution flag, but on green flag, he's having to make an unscheduled stop.
Unfortunate time for Tommy Houston, who's taken some victories for the old Southern Biscuit, number 6. Battle developing now for second place. Ingram, who's come from 14th, now struggling for second.
That's for third spot. The 28 car of Davey Allison is still in second spot.
Right.
And there we see Ingram right on the bumper of the 21 car, Larry Pearson. Pearson, if he lets the car go up a little bit, and he does, and Ingram alongside as he exit turn 4.
So as it stands, Shepherd is first, and here comes Ingram on the inside. This is for third. Stand corrected down to the bottom of the racetrack. That's Ingram, setting Larry Pearson in number 21 back into the 4th position. And here's Pearson. Looks like Ingram's in trouble.
It looks like something happened to the car as he went through turn 1 and 2. He has slowed dramatically going in turn 3.
Jack Ingram's number 11 may be headed for pit road here. He just made a move on Larry Pearson, something amiss. Ingram coming down, defending champion of NASCAR, brings his car to a halt. Crew is ready, and over the wall for Jack Ingram. Here's Jerry Garrett.
Well, they've got the hood up down here, Ken, and apparently some problem with a misfire in the motor. They don't know exactly what it is. It looks like it might involve the distributor. They're checking it out right now, but it's definitely going to throw him out of contention.
A lap down now. Still working on number 11. Morgan Shepherd stays in first. Davey Allison in second. Larry Pearson third. Brett Bodine fourth. Rick Mass fifth. Donnie Allison in sixth. Dale Jarrett in the seventh. Dale Jarrett got around a winter race in Hickory, North Carolina, or Rougemont earlier this year. Would certainly like to win at a super speedway.
He sure would. Dale Jarrett is one of the fellows who has a very promising career in automobile racing. There is talk of a Winston Cup ride for him down the road. And I'm sure he'd love to win a race on a big track, a 1 mile or over racetrack.
Donnie Allison's in the pits. Donnie Allison.
Donnie Allison pitting his car, and the number 11 car about to be rolled back behind the wall. Jerry, what's the story on Jack Ingram?
Well, Jack, what's put you out of the race finally?
I believe it chipped a valve because it went on 5 cylinders. A 6-cylinder don't run very well on 5 cylinders.
Your only chance in the title chase was to win today. You looked like you had the horsepower to do it until that motor problem. It's got to be frustrating.
Well, yeah, but maybe another day.
Okay, well, good race improvement today.
Jack Ingram out of it and out of the championship race. He had intentions of winning number 6 as a national title, not to be, as he falls by the wayside here at Rockingham.
We saw a smile on Jack Ingram's face as he was talking to Jerry Garrett. There is no joy in his heart, Ken Squire. That smile was strictly for that camera, because you know how disappointed Jack Ingram is today, because the championship is gone. Also, he had a chance to win this race, and that's gone.
We saw Jack Ingram with a smile on his face. It has been a tough, hard, frustrating season for him, and there is more to the Jack Ingram story than simply dropping out here today. He led the Grand National Series until recently, when he ran afoul of NASCAR officials. Bob Barsha has more.
Well, there was an incident that happened at a racetrack that wasn't involved in this series, and I got penalized by NASCAR, and I guess there really no way that I could say anything that would change anything that happened, either what I'd involved in on the racetrack or what NASCAR done, so there's no useful purpose for me to talk about it.
The incident Jack Ingram is referring to took place at North Carolina's Asheville Speedway, where Ingram rammed Ronnie Presley after tangling with him on the racetrack. NASCAR hit Ingram with a 2-race suspension, during which the 5-time Grand National champ fell from 1st to 3rd in this year's title chase.
Obviously, it probably cost me the chance to win the championship, but I'm not going to lay around and grieve about that. I got to go on race and try to do the best I can do.
The beneficiary of Ingram's troubles, title contender Larry Pearson, views his good fortune philosophically.
The first 2 races of the year I fell out of, and I finished dead last, so I was 235 points behind him, so that's just like me missing 2 races. But, you know, those things happen, and NASCAR had to do something about it, and they did. I'll be back next year running for it again, and Jack behaves himself and doesn't get suspended, then maybe me and him can go at it again.
More from the Rockingham 200. At the North Carolina Motor Speedway for the Rockingham 200, here are the standings. Shepard first, Allison second, Pearson third. Dale Jarrett moving up a spot. He'll move into fourth. Rick Mast into fifth. Charlie Luck into sixth. And L.D. Ottinger finds himself back in seventh. The man everyone's watching is Shepard as he tries to put a lap on the field. It's now 22 seconds, the interval between first and second position. Here's Bob Barsha at the Motorcraft Quarterly Parts Pit Center.
Well, Ken, let's update that V6 versus V8 engine battle that we talked about at the top of the show. Right now, Morgan Shepherd, Davey Allison running up front with V6s. You got Larry Pearson in third place. The only other car on the lead lap, that's a V8. And a V6 to Dale Jarrett, and another V8 to Rick Mast the lap down. That V6 is touted to be the engine of the future in stock car racing, and at this point, scored 3-2 V6 over V8. Back to you, Ken.
The leader is in the pits. Morgan Shepherd, the leader, coming down pit road.
Scheduled stop, we believe. Here's Jerry Garrett.
Ken, the word that we get down here is that Morgan has an outside tire problem, and that's why he needs to stop. He did not take advantage of that earlier caution period when a lot of other drivers stopped and took on tires and made adjustments and took on fuel. So he needed to do this now, but he seems to have had a tire problem that made him do it before a yellow flag could help him out.
16 seconds on pit road. Not 16 and a half seconds when 77 gets back into the action here. And with that stop, slowing down and getting back up to speed, that'll move them around, putting Davey Allison on the point, Larry Pearson to second place. Let's check him as they come by.
Here's Larry Pearson, the leader, coming off turn 4 with start-finish line. His dad, Bobby Allison, right behind him. Now, Davey is the leader. Interested to see what would happen if a caution flag were to come out. Would Davey move over and let Bobby go by to get that lap back that he's lost in the pits?
Davey Allison running right in front of his father as they go back into turn number 3. That was right where Bobby Allison had one of the worst wrecks. I remember when he crashed the Norris Industries Bud Moore car there, the old white and blue machine. Put it up the wall, caught on fire, and came down pit road, half in and half out of the car. Tough racetrack. Anyone that's ever run here for any time at all has stories to tell about the Rock. The North Carolina Motor Speedway at Rockingham. Watching the Allisons, 2 generations of them, with Bobby Allison in command, or rather Davey Allison in command, and Bobby Allison trying to get a lap back here. Rick Mast is pitting car number 22. He's been running in 5th position up in the top of the order today. There you see his car on pit road for fuel and tires. Now, after that pit stop by Morgan Shepherd, he moved back to 3rd spot. Davey Allison first, Larry Pearson second, Morgan Shepherd in 3rd, Dale Jarrett in 4th. And there is Larry Pearson getting knocked down a spot as Morgan Shepherd just keeps on coming. Back to 2nd place, Morgan Shepherd. 2 7/10 of a second between Davey Allison, number 28, and the black and silver number 77 of Morgan Shepherd, who again is on the close. Meanwhile, Bobby Allison in the 85 tries to tuck underneath his son to get that lap back. That would be some shootout if they came to a caution situation here, as Bobby needs to get back in that lead lap, and Davey would sure try to fend him off. He knows his father is tough to deal with in the same lap when you get down to the end of one of these things.
Now, there's another thing. What do you do in that situation? What do you say to your dad when you don't let him get that lap back?
You don't say much.
You don't say much. That's a tough spot for Davey Allison. It looks like he's handling it very well.
We're more than halfway in the Rockingham 200, and we're watching Davey Allison with an outstanding performance in what should be one of his final, if not the final, Grand National race. He moves up to Winston Cup competition in 1987. Davey Allison says he doesn't plan anything special racing against his dad or his uncle here today.
I'll give them as much room as they give me. I'm not going to give them any more or any less. You know, I wouldn't be a dirty driver with anybody else on the racetrack, so I wouldn't do it with Dad or Donnie either.
You bet your boots you would.
And right behind him, there's a black car that's lurking. It's not lurking, it's coming hard. Morgan Shepherd just about 15 car lengths behind Davey Allison right now. And if he can get by Davey, he will have made a pit stop, changed tires, and still have the lead of this race.
Well, there is the leader, and there is Bobby Allison, who bobbles for just a moment and came out of the throttle. You see that car dip below the line and collected, and there is Morgan Shepherd whistling down through on the bottom side. Shepherd has pulled by Bobby Allison and goes after Davey here.
Bobby almost lost that car coming off the second corner, got the car completely out of shape, but experience, he was able to save it.
The interval getting shorter all the time between this man, Davey Allison, about to lap Charlie Luck, and this man. There you see it. No interval. Atoll is just closing in accordion fashion. Comes 77. Morgan Shepherd there to battle for the lead. Now they come in the main straightaway. Good crowd here at Rockingham on their feet as Davey Allison holds the bottom line. Morgan Shepherd motors up to the outside. Charlie Luck stays there. High side pass for Morgan Shepherd. We'll see.
No problem. No problem. Drove right by. What a tremendous run for Morgan Shepherd today.
An incident coming out of turn number 2. This will bunch them up, and it will take the pressure off the leaders. They'll all get an opportunity to work on their cars. And let's look at the replay of what has just happened here in the second turn.
There the car is on the inside. I still don't know what car it is. Elton Sawyer out of Chesapeake, Virginia, low on the racetrack coming off turn 2, just loses the car, goes down, brushes the inside guardrail, back up against it, but I don't think there's a tremendous amount of damage there, Ken.
Eldon Sawyer's number 42, resting bottom of the racetrack, back straightaway.
Elton has the car moving. He's just waiting for traffic to get by so he can pull away.
And we'll be back with more of the action from the North Carolina Motor Speedway in the Rockingham 200 in a moment.
Rockingham 200 for the conclusion of this race coming up. A lot of the leaders have made pit stops, made chassis adjustments, changed left side tires. It should be a dandy battle to the finish.
And we're under green once again, breaking out in front. Morgan Shepherd, as he has throughout today, staying right there. The question that Chris Economaki posed, we could get an answer right now as we see them going down the back straightaway. Car number 6, Tommy Houston, has closed in on Morgan Shepherd in a battle for the lead.
I'm surprised that Morgan Shepherd did not pit on that caution flag. And Tommy Houston is alongside Morgan going down in turn 1. He's there, Ken.
Smoke still continuing to pour off the right rear tire on that Tommy Houston car. He's taking the lead, the first man to overcome Morgan Shepherd this afternoon. Tommy Houston. Houston breaking into the lead, going down into turn number 3. That was a surprise about Morgan Shepherd then.
It was, because I felt like his car was not working as well as it was earlier. Why did he not pit and adjust the car? But he chose to stay out. Maybe he knows something we don't know, Ken.
There's the battle, and you can see that smoke continuing to come off that number 6 Houston car. Now, those guys have faced each other several hundred times in short track racing. Tommy Houston, current leader, and here comes Morgan Shepherd back on him on the outside.
Great race as they come off turn 4. They're side by side down to the start-finish line. Morgan Shepherd by a half car length, and he takes the lead back going in turn 1.
Tommy Houston having to settle into a second-place position. He had it for one lap, and once again, Morgan Shepherd dominates. Third spot is Davey Allison. Fourth spot is Larry Pearson. Fifth is Dale Jarrett. L.D. Ottinger has gone behind the wall, and he has retired from the event. Ottinger's number 2 car is out of it this afternoon. Back straightaway. You wonder if Shepherd has shown everything he has in that car, or if he's been waiting on people, not willing to really show just how much power this car has.
I felt like earlier on that he was showing everything he had, but just a few laps ago, he certainly didn't have a car any faster than Tommy Houston. And right now, again, he passed Houston. It looked like it will, but yet Houston is able to stay right at the same spot he was a few laps ago.
There's the third-place battle. Davey Allison there in the 28 car, the red car, and the colors of the Pearson gang right there after him. Larry Pearson, running in fourth, comes to the bottom of the racetrack. Jerry Garrett.
Can't keep an eye on Davey Allison these last few laps. His crew now thinks that they've solved that handling problem. They changed left side tires, did the chassis adjustments. They're all applauding now every time he goes by.
Fifth position, Dale Jarrett. In the 6th position, Bodine, and 7th is Jimmy Hensley. There's that battle for third. Davey Allison in the 28. Pearson, maintaining 4th and 21. Pearson goes up on the outside. Nope, not to be. The only man that has the power to work on the outside today seems to be Morgan Shepherd.
Seems to be Morgan Shepherd. These cars, the Davey Allison and Larry Pearson cars, stand on the bottom of the racetrack better than Morgan's, better than Tommy Houston's, but yet they aren't going around the racetrack that much faster than Morgan Shepherd and Tommy Houston, and I really don't know why. There we see Dave. That's the problem that Davey Allison has right now is the 21 car of Larry Pearson. As he tries to go around this racetrack faster and faster, one concern that he has is keeping Larry Pearson behind him.
Well, now they're catching Houston.
They sure are. They're on the outside. Davey Allison on the outside of Pearson.
So Tommy Houston, right here in the 6th car, is about to feel the weight of Davey Allison as he's falling back. And it looks to me like whatever is the problem is getting more serious in car number 6. He does a little dipsy-doodle down here in turn number 1. Started low, went up high, and it looked like Pearson was going to drag by him on the inside. Now Pearson tries him on the outside, going into turn 3. And at 3, Larry Pearson is into 3rd. Tommy Houston falling back to 4th and coming into the pits at this moment.
Looks like Tommy Houston has a flat tire, or the car is so loose he feels like he has a flat tire anyway. He comes down pit road, his crew's waiting on him. They go around to the right side with the jack. And down in the pits is Chris Economaki.
Okay, they're jacking up the right side. Houston's got a sad look on his face. They're changing both right side tires, but it looks as though he'll go a lap down. Now they're trying to find out whether the tires on the left are flat or not. They're not sure as he pulls out. It's hard to tell with these airliners. Back to you, Ken.
Here's Bob Barsham.
Again, here on our Motorcraft Quality Parts scoreboard, we show that the battle of V6 versus V8 looks like a V6 knockout at this point. Larry Pearson and his Chevy V8, the sole representative of that much-hallowed class in stock car racing. Another point, we've seen the tires have become very important here at Rockingham today. Our pit communication center is right next to the Goodyear depot, and a couple of teams have come running over here with their carts to pick up extra sets of tires. It's not over yet. Back to you, Ken.
So the big honkers, the V8s, really feeling the pressure. And it's felt that in years to come, what will be the number 1 series, Winston Cup Series, we'll see the V6 power plants, which are being tested here in the Grand National Series of NASCAR.
And this is a very good situation. They're able to test the V6s in 200-mile events, 200-lap events on one-third, one-half-mile racetracks, and get the durability into them before they have to go run a Daytona 500 or a Talladega 500.
And, of course, the cars are lightening up. The Winston Cup car is already coming down to 3,500 pounds. In 1987, these cars considerably less than that. With 10 laps remaining for Morgan Shepherd here today, is what, 3,200-pound car?
I would think it's about, with a V6, it's probably 3,100 pounds. With a V8, probably 3,300 pounds. There is a little advantage for a V6.
Morgan Shepherd in the final moments, the last countdown, trying to hold on to this one. Car has been rock solid here at the Rock all afternoon. Rockingham, North Carolina in the 200. All Morgan Shepherd here today. This would be Morgan's first victory in Grand National competition in Rockingham. He's had plenty of experience on some other tracks and taken his colors to victory. Today, here on what always is a demanding course, he's given this car a nice
Tommy Houston spins. Oh, yes, he spins.
He loses it in turn 4. Tommy Houston's in the wall. All the way around, trying to duck down out of traffic as they still zip by. I believe that was Jarrett just behind him and getting through.
That was close. A couple of times it was close. While he was up against the outside retaining wall, cars going by on the inside. As he drifted back down the racetrack, cars go by on the outside.
We'll take a look at replay, and what a shootout we're going to have for a finish here. If anybody can get to Morgan Shepherd, we're going to find out in a moment. That one just sailed away.
It did. He went sideways. He was able to save the correct for the first time, but not the second time. There we see cars going by on the inside.
A little loose in the caboose. The back end just got out from underneath him.
Just went out from under him.
Field gathering for a start. Tommy Houston is back on the track. Morgan Shepherd is on the point. Here they come down to take the green flag. Jarrett taking the gamble on the rubber, hoping it will light up and get him back up in this race. Morgan Shepherd draws away quickly. You can see the advantage he's building over Davey Allison in second. Meanwhile, back in third, it is a scramble. In the back straightaway, Larry Pearson is there in third. Let's go to Jerry Garrett.
Well, the report down here in Davey Allison's pit says that he radioed his crew. He says, I think I can catch Morgan now. It's going to be close, but I was just saving my engine earlier. I think I got the horses. I got the handling.
Back straightaway. Doesn't look like it right now. Meanwhile, great fight for third spot. Back straightaway.
Jarrett came off the second corner like he was shot out of a cannon. Cannon goes by Larry Pearson and has third spot. He's looking at the Davey Allison car right now.
Here is Jarrett up into third and going after Allison. Laps running down. Final moments. A couple to go. I don't think that there's a prayer for Allison to catch Shepard, but there's an opportunity here for Dale Jarrett to close on Davey Allison and make a run for the flag for that second position. Time runs out. White flag about to be unfurled in the Rockingham 200. Morgan Shepard continuing. Has it all his own way. White flag is down. Davey Allison in second, but here comes number 32. Jarrett is there. There's Morgan Shepard leading. Battle is for second position. The 28 car is Davey Allison closing up. Last lap for second place. Dale Jarrett in the Nationwide's 32. Closes in at turn 3. This is it. Down for the checkers this time by. It will be Morgan Shepard to win it. The battle is right here for second place. Across the line goes Morgan Shepard. The battle for second. Give it to Allison. Dale Jarrett in third, and winding up the afternoon in the fourth position, it's Larry Pearson. The Rockingham 200 is won by Morgan Shepard with one of his finest drives of 1986. Davey Allison pulls up to congratulate Morgan after a flawless performance here on this mile track.
It sure was flawless. What a great job Morgan Shepard did today. Evidently, while he's been working on that car the last couple of weeks, he's found something, because I haven't seen a car run that well in a long, long time.
Personal pride for Morgan Shepard, something he built himself. Brought here to the racetrack, comes home a winner with Davey Allison in second, Jarrett third, Pearson fourth, Brett Bodine fifth, Jimmy Hensley sixth. We'll be going to victory lane after these messages. Morgan Shepard's number 77 pulls into victory lane. Let's join Chris Economaki.
Hey, Morgan. Great job you did there. You murdered him today. Your car worked. It seemed to work everywhere. Is this something you've done it with, or is that the way the track turned out?
Chris, this is our short track car. It's one that we ran at Dover, and it just seems to be a super low car, and you just can't beat these Buick V6s.
Morgan, late in the race, after a yellow flag, Tommy Houston got by you. Was that a surprise? Did you let him by? But you got him right back. What was the story there?
Well, Tommy had come in and changed tires, and I think that hit him for, excuse me, for about a lap or so there. But afterwards, my car just kept working better and kept going on.
Okay, how are you going to celebrate?
You kind of got me. I reckon I'll have a big Pepsi.
Okay, congratulations again, Morgan Shepard. And now to Jerry Garrett.
Well, we're down here with Davey Allison, and Davey had a frustrating day chasing Morgan Shepard.
Yeah, Morgan's car was hooked up really good. We were a little bit off. You know, we ran pretty good at the first of the race, but then we were a little bit off. You know, and we couldn't get a happy medium, but the boys worked hard, and we still pulled out a second, so we're happy.
Morgan says the only thing that can beat a Buick V6 is another Buick V6.
Well, we had Buick V6 in the top 3, I think.
Okay, a good day for Buick down here. Back up to Kent Squire.
Well, there you see the top 5 here in the Rockingham 200. Morgan Shepard by about 1.5 seconds. It was Brett Bodine 6th and Jimmy Hensley in 7th. Charlie Luck came back for the 7th position. I'm always amazed about Morgan Shepard. He talks so gently, but he drives such a tough race.
You know, I felt like I said at the top of the show that he or Bobby Allison would win the race, but I never dreamed that Morgan would destroy the field like he did today. I haven't seen a better job of driving and preparing a car in a long, long time.
Well, thank you very much for being with us, Benny Parsons. That's the story of the Rockingham 200. For the folks standing by at the Motorcraft Quality Parts Pit Control Center today, Phil Parsons and Bob Barsha, our reporters along pit road, Jerry Garrett and Chris Economaki, and our special thanks to Benny Parsons. I'm Ken Squire at the North Carolina Motor Speedway.
Promotional consideration and a fee have been paid by Baker Equipment Engineering Company of Richmond, Virginia. For all your utility equipment rental needs, call Baker Equipment.
Get in the fast lane next Tuesday night for high-speed racing action on Motor World at 10. Frankie Panchito Warren puts his undefeated record on the line when he squares off against Ozzie O'Neill. There's a title at stake tomorrow night at 8 on Wednesday Night Fights. And now get ready for murder and suspense on the Alfred Hitchcock Hour next.